Hi, everybody. It's Jennifer Hartshorn. I'm the Director of Communications for the Ounce of Prevention Fund, and I'm going to tell you today about a program that's going to really help improve your graphic design skills and your branding. So these are very, very important elements of running a program and making yourself look very professional and put together, and I'm going to show you how to do it in a really simple and affordable way. And I promise you that everybody in this Zoom room can learn how to do Canva and can have great looking brochures and flyers and social media posts before you even know it. You'll be taking your graphic design up a notch, and you'll know how to do it yourself and not have to depend on an expensive graphic designer to do it for you. So let me show you how we do a lot of the graphic design at the Ounce of Prevention. We use a program called Canva. Canva is an online platform, so you don't have to download any software to your computer. It all is online. You go to the website, you do your design there. The website is Canva, CANVA.com. Here at Canva, there'll be I'm already logged in, but there'll be a prompt to sign up for an account. So I want you to go ahead and do that to sign up for a free account. A free account at Canva is going to give you some really amazing options to do graphic design, but the basic free account is going to have some limitations. So what you're going to want to do is upgrade to the Pro account, but hopefully you can get that Pro account for free like we do at the Ounce. We as a nonprofit have the ability to apply for a free Pro account, and now we do all of our graphic design on this amazing program for free, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So first you want to sign up and have your account. Use the email address that you use most frequently and have easy access to when you sign up for this account. And then once you do that, you're going to just go to good old Google and Google Canva for nonprofits. And you'll come up with this website here, canva.com/canva-for-nonprofits /. That's why I recommend Googling it. I don't know how to get to it from the Canva homepage. I Googled it myself when I found it, and I have not been able to find the trail that gets you there. So just Google it and click on the link. And so it's going to show you how to apply as a nonprofit for a free Pro account. So that's not actually the page it takes you to. It'll take you to this page. You can check the eligibility guidelines if you qualify as a 501(c) or a few other ways that you can qualify for a free account. You can check those eligibility guidelines, and if you believe that you qualify, you can click apply now. It's free, and you can now you can apply for your nonprofit Pro account. So the Pro account is going to give you extra add-ons over the regular free account. So you really want to do this upgrade for free if you can. So go ahead and fill all this out. It's going to ask you for that email address that you just put in when you created your account. It's going to ask for your name and website, etc. And then once you do all this and click through, it's also going to ask you to provide a little bit of documentation that you are a qualified nonprofit, and then it'll ask you some information about what kind of work you do. That's just for their knowledge, so when they're reporting to their board and others about their philanthropy efforts, they can categorize what you do. So you don't have to go into great detail about that. And so go ahead and apply for that here. It took about a week for them to upgrade my account to Pro. And so what it'll do is it'll actually just switch over inside your account, and then they'll send you an email and say you have the Pro access now. So I'll show you what all that means. I'm talking quickly because there's so much to cover on Canva, and I want to go over as much of it as I can during our limited time together, but once you start playing around in here, you'll see that the possibilities are endless in Canva. So when you come to your graphic design homepage, www.canva.com, you probably want to create something like a brochure, a flyer, an Instagram post. All those are possible right here. They've now even gotten into video. There's so many possibilities of things that you can create in Canva, and you'll spend tons of time poking around and seeing how this can help your organization. So we're going to first start when you get your pro account with establishing your branding. Branding is all the elements that someone would associate with your organization. So let's think, for example, of a brand that we love in Florida, Publix. Publix uses a very bold green. It's the same green every time. They have very simple letters in their font for their writing and their logo. And you know, when you pull up to a Publix and you see that familiar green, you might see a circle with a P in it. That's another version of their logo. You know where you're at and you know what to expect. One thing that you can expect is that they will make shopping a pleasure, that they've made that their tagline, and that's part of their branding. And so all of us have come to expect that. Also, part of their branding is the way that they treat customers when you're inside. If you ask for something, they're supposed to walk you to where that item is at. This is all part of building their brand as the friendliest place in town, best place in town to do your grocery shopping. And so all of those elements work together to make Publix a strong brand. So we want you to establish your brand to be very strong and recognizable for the work that you do. And part of that is by having a logo that's recognizable, picking colors and sticking with them consistently, using a recognizable font. It doesn't have to be a crazy font, but just a font that is simple and also, and I even say simple, it doesn't always have to be simple. Think of Chick-fil-A. Their font is not simple, but it's recognizable with their brand. And you know that it's going to be consistent every time. They're not going to have a different kind of font in Miami than they do in Tallahassee. It's going to be the same font on every Chick-fil-A. So think of that. Think through how you want your branding to look, and you maybe have already done this, and you can set that up inside Canva. You'll come over to the left to Brand Kit. Now I've already set up a little bit of our branding in here, and we'll get there in a moment. So we have our brand logos along with logos of many of our partners. Our main brand logo is the Ounce of Prevention Fund. We also have some other units within our umbrella that we partner with frequently, Healthy Families Florida, and I don't have our Prevent Child Abuse Florida in here, where we also sometimes partner with these agencies. So I have their logos in here. So these are assets or pieces of the brand materials that I use frequently. So I have them right here in this brand kit at my fingertips. I was able to upload color palettes. So I decided what colors I wanted to use for the brand, and I try to use them consistently. For that Healthy Families brand, for the Ounce of Prevention, we basically use red and black, so I haven't programmed that in here as a special brand palette. These are some palettes that I use specifically for projects that I was working on, so it's very easy to come in here and just add your color palettes. So you can decide if you wanted a baby blue. You could, it'll give you some choices and you can pick some. If, for example, you say, I saw a photo that inspired me and I would like to use that color. So maybe I'm going to use a sunset. So I've already Googled up sunset here, and maybe I'm going to choose colors of sunset and kind of like these. So, okay, I like these blues, yellows, oranges are kind of cool, but how am I going to find those specific colors? Well, Google and Google Chrome give you a very, very easy way to do that. They're going to give you this color pick Eyedropper. Now what you can do is, if you don't have this, and you probably don't, you just Google Color Pick Eyedropper, Google Chrome add-on. It's going to take you to a place where you can add this to your taskbar. Again, that's Color Pick Eyedropper, Google Chrome add-on. So this is going to help us measure those colors and determine exactly what kind of sunset pictures or colors, I'm sorry, that we're going to use. So I'm going to come back here, and I kind of like this sort of teal blue color. So you just, all I did was click the eyedropper, and then now I'm hovering over the blue that I like, and I click it, and it's going to give me this crazy code, this hashtag number letter combo. That's called the hex code, and that's how graphic design programs identify colors. So I'm going to very simply copy that, Control C to copy. Okay, so I've got my Untitled palette there. I should have named it Sunset, but I didn't. So I'll just drop in a color here. We'll come back over here. And here, it has now recognized that and dropped that into my color palette. So then I like this sort of bright yellow. So I'll choose that. Again, it's highlighted it for me, so I just Control C copy, and there you go. I see where this is going, and I'm not trying to make this a school argument or discussion. I simply chose sunset because I saw a beautiful one yesterday and thought it was lovely. Maybe I'll add a little purple in there just to mix it up a little. So now we have a little color palette that we can work with, and we can use that on future Canva projects if we want. The other pieces of the color palette are your brand fonts. So you can pick fonts that you want to use frequently, and you can add those as your brand fonts. I have maxed out my brand font area, so it won't let me add one, but if you haven't maxed yours out, then it will allow you to add here, and you can choose from what they offer. If you're upgraded to a pro account, it's going to offer hundreds of fonts that you can choose from, and I chose very simple, easy to read ones, but they have all kinds of very complex, beautiful fonts. However, most of us who are dealing with families want to use very simple and easy to read fonts. I would highly recommend that you go with something very simple, even though it's not going to look very fancy. That's okay. We just want to get our point across most of the time, as simply as possible. You can also upload fonts. If there are fonts that you like to use that the program doesn't have, you can upload those. A lot of fonts are available free online. There's a website called freefont.com, several more. 1001 Fonts is another. There are tons of them out there where you can download beautiful free fonts and upload them here to Canva if there's something you're going to use frequently. I like this one because it matches our ounce of prevention logo very nicely, and it has a lot of choices. You see, this is one font but has a lot of styles, and that's why I like that one. So we'll get the same look, but also gives us some variety within that look. So here, this is our brand kit, and this sort of is the basis of all the elements that we're going to use every time we design anything in this program. So how do you design something? Let's start with designing a flyer. So I just go back home, and I want to design a quick flyer. And I'm going through this very quickly, but it's very user-friendly. And once you get in here, you're gonna have a very simple time figuring out exactly how to make this work for your program. My internet has slowed down for just a second here. So I'm just going to make a very simple flyer, but you can see that when I typed in flyer, it gave me a ton of template choices. So you can choose one of these that works really well for you. Some have spaces for photos, some don't. Some have multiple photos. This one has 3 photos, and you'll be able to change those photos, so don't get too worried about exactly what's on it. I'm thinking about, okay, let's make a flyer for a family fun fair. And so here's one that has a couple of pictures. So I'll say a thing or two about photos while we're waiting for this to load. One of the main advantages to this pro account in Canva is the photo selection. And I'm going to show you the photo album here in just a moment. There are thousands of amazing, outstanding, beautiful photos that you can choose from to use on any of the pieces of content, any of the brochures or flyers or social media pieces that you make. And so they just have an amazing photo library, and that is the #1 benefit, in my opinion, of having the pro account. So again, hopefully you can upgrade to a free pro account using your nonprofit status. For those of you who are nonprofits, if anyone is not a nonprofit and you think you could benefit from a beautiful photo library, this is the best price that I've found to have access to this many photos. So even if you end up paying for Canva on a monthly basis, it may be worth it to you depending on how much you use stock photography in your designs. So that's for everyone to decide on their own. I think it's an excellent value for anyone who does a handful of pieces. There are many places on the internet that you'll pay $30, $40, even $70 for one image, and here you'll get thousands of images for, I think their price is $12.99 a month, maybe $13.99 a month for pro. So that's something to consider. You have to consider if that's worth it for your organization. I don't make any money off of Canva. I just know that this has made my life so much easier as far as graphic design has gone, but especially as far as finding a catalog of photos that show a very diverse collection of families and children in a wide variety of settings. This is by far the best library that I've gotten access to at a, fortunately for me, it's at a price of free. But even if we had to pay for it as an organization, I would still recommend to my organization to pay for it. Now, when we go into their photo library, again, we're searching for a family fun fair. So I'm going to say baby in crib. And here's where I'm going to remind you that we want to choose photos that represent the actions and values we want for our families. So I chose baby in crib very deliberately because this is a big topic of conversation for families with young babies. You know that safe sleep is a huge topic of conversation. And we follow CDC and American Academy of Pediatric guidelines that that recommend that baby sleeps alone on their back and in a crib. So every single photo that I choose of a baby is going to show a baby sleeping alone on their back in a crib. So I'm not going to choose a picture of a dad laying on the couch with baby sleeping on his chest. Those pictures can be so precious. I know, I love them, and they stir up a lot of emotions for those of us who've had babies, and we love having our husbands or significant others or other men who are important in our lives snuggle the baby for sleep, but that does not follow the guidelines that we want our families to follow for safe sleep. And so we are going to choose photos that represent what we want. So you can see my lineup here. It's already showing me a lot of photos of babies in a safe sleep environment, but it also shows some that aren't, such as this baby with the blanket. That's not alone on their back in a crib. This baby is adorable, but has a lot of things in the crib with him. So there are several on here that would suit my needs, and there are several that don't. And so that's one issue that we look at here. There are lots of others. And certainly, for example, if your program relies a lot on mentorship, you might be looking for pictures. I hope this will bring up child mentors. So here's one. This is a nice, perhaps a nice mentorship photo showing a mentor bonding with the kid. I didn't pre-screen this, so it's not giving me a lot of pictures, but so you would want to show, for example, this picture probably would not be appropriate for your program because that's more of a business mentorship. So you would want to pick mentorship that shows what you mean to your audience. You mean mentorship between children and between adults and children, or perhaps you mean mentorship of an older established family or an older established parent with a younger established parent. So that would be an appropriate mentorship photo. So hopefully you get what I'm meaning here. So we're going to go back and just throw up some family photos on our family fun fair. I'm just going to pick a few. I'm just clicking and I'm going to drag them over, and it's going to drop them in where those existing photos already are. This looks so cute. We also want our pictures to represent. That one's so cute. I'm going to stop for a minute and favorite it. I don't think I've ever put this in my favorites. So I'm adding this to my folder. Okay. Because I might want to use that one again. So when you have the pro account, you'll have the possibility to do that. I've never seen that one before, and I know I'm going to want to use that one again. So again, you just want to be sure that the photos that you're using are representing a range of whatever ages you serve. We're going to come here, and we're not doing a car wash. We're doing our family fun fair. Okay, so I typed the words in. I'm using their font, but I want to change it to my brand font. So I'll just come up here, and on the left, I've got my brand fonts here. So I chose my Family Fun Fair font. It is very large, so I'm just going to come over here and reduce it. Now I get close to the camera sometimes, but I'm working as I'm leading, so it's a little awkward. So these are not my preferred font colors. Remember, I wanted a sunset color scheme, so I'll come over here and I'll do my sunset blue, and I'll come back here and grab my yellows. And I might just do that white. Okay, so now I need to add a little more information because this flyer didn't give me a text box to put a lot of information. So I'll just come over to text. They have a lot of options available. So I'll say so it added the text here, double added it. I'm going to increase it a little bit so I can see. So here's the font. I'm sorry, here's the flyer we would have made. And again, you can add so many things. If you come over here in elements, you could add confetti, lines, shapes. There's so many options to really spruce up your flyer, but I don't think we're going to need to do that just for my purposes of showing you how to do that. So I'll delete that second page. Let's say this is our completed flyer, and we're going to now download it. So probably what you're thinking is, okay, I want to print a bunch of these and distribute them through my community. Do not hit print flyers. This is going to actually order the flyer from Canva. So they'll charge you for them to print them and mail them to you. So that's probably not what you're going to want to do. Instead, you want to use this, which is, I'm sure you recognize that as a symbol for download. So you'll download. So it gives you the opportunity to download in many different formats. For example, for a flyer, you would want to download a PDF, but depending on what else you were doing, you might want to download PNG or JPEG are like photo files. For example, if you were going to upload this to Facebook, if you're going to decide to upload it to Facebook, then you would choose a PNG or a JPEG file to give you the right type of file, because a PDF can't be uploaded. But for our purposes of printing, we would download the PDF, and then so that would download it directly to our downloads folder on our computer. So as I was mentioning, let's say you make a flyer and then you did want to turn it into something else. You might want to turn it into, let's just say, for example, an Instagram post. So over on the top, you can say resize. And it gives you lots of options for resizing here. Basically, anything you want. We're going to go with Instagram post, copy and resize. So it'll actually keep the flyer on your menu, and then it's making a copy and then making it a new size. Now, the proportions might be off a little, which they are, so you might have to move some things around. This one actually turned out really nicely, and I'm not going to move anything around, but sometimes this will come out kind of wonky and you might have to adjust sizes, or you maybe would have to move some of these photos. See, these are all these elements are editable, but you know, you might want to move a photo or something to give it some more room. So you could do that. So there, we've completed the first graphic design of a flyer. There's so much more that this program can do though, and so I want to go back home and show you another option that I think you're going to find very usable. Another feature that I find very useful is the presentation feature. So I'm going to open up this presentation and just show you how you can make a very beautiful presentation that you can import into PowerPoint. So here on the left, you see there's lots of options for templates, and you can look through. You could spend so much time looking through all of these, but just for the ease of our presentation, I know that this one up here has a lot of photos. I've used this one before, so I'm going to apply this one. And so we're going to get ready to personalize this presentation. Let's say that we're doing a presentation on how to apply for a grant. And so we'll say applying for a grant. Very simple. I'm going to change this to our font. Again, I just go up and it's got my brand fonts here that I can use. Can use my style bar up there to make sure I get it centered. You can move things around. You can delete elements you don't need. Okay. And maybe we'll just clarify that and say, that's in the middle. And so we'll just clarify that and say, with the ounce of prevention. And I'm going to increase the font there. So let's pretend I capitalize that. And then we're going to come over to photos and begin choosing some of our photos. Again, we'll just go to some of the photos that we've used before. I clicked family. I love this photo. Okay, that one doesn't quite fit the box, so I just double clicked it. Now I can move it over and put it where I want. All right, so our colors at the Ounce of Prevention Fund are red and black, so I'm going to change to this red that I have handy. And what I would like to do is not have to go through and change every orange box to red myself. So I changed that first one, and if you notice, I have not clicked anything else. And if you'll look down here at the bottom, it gives me an option, change all orange to red. You only have one opportunity to catch this box. And so you'll say, yes, I want to change all the orange to red. And you'll see down here that all these orange boxes have now changed to red, and I don't have to go through and do that by hand. So you can change those little elements, you can change the photos. Now I actually have a bank of photos that I've used before, that I've favorited. So you can go into folders, and I can go into my likes, and these are going to be some photos that I've used before or decided that I liked, and it'll make it easier. Sometimes when I'm going through, just like when I went through this one earlier and I saw this one that I liked and I knew I would want to use again, these are how I got all of these. I was just maybe going through things and saw things that I liked. So there's a mom. So I won't go through every slide, but you'll see that there are lots of opportunities to change text, change graphics, and do a lot of fun things in the presentation. You could even put a background on if you wanted to. Most of the time it's click and drag. Again, if you want to change the text, you have lots of opportunities to add new text, and you can change to fonts. And like I said, I keep my brand fonts handy right here, but there are hundreds of fonts that you can choose from. And so that just makes it very simple to create a presentation. Now you can present directly from Canva. So this is handy if you want to just kind of see what your presentation looks like. You can just start the presentation and you can click through, just like if you're doing that in PowerPoint, or if you want to download it, you can download it as PDF. So you can download it as a PDF, a JPEG, a PNG, or you can come over here and you can share it as a Microsoft PowerPoint file. So that's helpful if you need to actually download it into PowerPoint to do something different with it in your PowerPoint program. There's some other options there as well, but I think that's going to be your most popular options. Also, there is the option to animate, just like you were in PowerPoint. I don't do a lot of animations personally, but if you wanted to animate your slides, it gives that option for you. It gives you lots of options there. And that will transfer when you download it or share it. Again, that's confusing because it's on a different menu, but you share it as a Microsoft PowerPoint file. So I'm just going to go back home and just show you a couple other features. Of course, one feature is where to find your recent designs and all of your designs. So you can click on these menus and you can see the bank of items that you've designed before and get access back to them again. Now, One thing I do want to point out is if you were going to copy this and perhaps use this for another event, you wanted to keep what you had and then create something different but similar based off of that image, then you would make a copy. You can share items with other people, and here you can retrieve your shared with you documents. So these are documents that others have shared to me. So if they need help, they need me to review it, or they need me to fix something or add a photo or something like that, they can share it to me and I can do it. And we both have access to the presentation or the document. Some of them are just documents. And so we've got that option. You can also, under the Pro account, you can have a team. So I have a team, and I have been able to invite others in my organization to design in Canva, and they didn't have to go through the process of getting the free account for the nonprofit. Because they're on my team, they are extended under my free account. So that is also a really fantastic feature. So Canva can do so many things that I have only just begun to scratch the surface. So I hope you'll really get in there and dig around. But I know everybody's short on time. Everybody has so many duties and wears so many hats. But if one of your hats is creating brochures, creating flyers, creating social media posts, or anything that needs some graphics or needs to look professional and polished, this is much, much easier than trying to design a flyer in Word or even in Publisher. It just takes it up a notch because it has so many templates that are already designed that you can just jump right in and add your own branding and add your own colors and just make it your own. So I hope you will take the time to apply for a free Canva account and hopefully upgrade it to Pro if you're eligible for the free upgrade, and just really poke around and see what Canva can do for you. And I hope you'll share a few of those items with me so I can see your creativity, because it really has taken our creativity to a new level here in our office, and I think it can do the same for yours without much of a time commitment. It's very user-friendly, very easy to learn, and it's exciting to get really great looking graphic design products at the end. So please let us know if we can help you, and I'll stick around and answer questions. Thank you.